Support for WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com is provided by Northwest Community Credit Union. Northwest Community Credit Union is located on campus inside the Graham School of Management and offers financial services for the St. Xavier community. Services include student credit cards, student loans, and other financial resources. More information is available at nwccu.com.
Support for WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com is being provided by Bookies, new and used books. Bookies is an independent bookstore located at 10324 Southwestern Avenue in Chicago. They have a collection of new and used books and accept book trade-ins and donations. More information is available at bookiechicago.com and on Instagram at bookiechicago.
This podcast is being brought to you by WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com. WXAV, bringing the best podcasts to you.
Support for WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com is provided by Northwest Community Credit Union. Northwest Community Credit Union is located on campus inside the Graham School of Management and offers financial services for the St. Xavier community. Services include student credit cards, student loans, and other financial resources. More information is available at nwccu.com.
Support for WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com is being provided by Bookies, new and used books. Bookies is an independent bookstore located at 10324 Southwestern Avenue in Chicago. They have a collection of new and used books and accept book trade-ins and donations. More information is available at bookiechicago.com and on Instagram at bookiechicago.
This podcast is being brought to you by WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com. WXAV, bringing the best podcasts to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Justic.
And my name is Perla Cobos.
And welcome back to episode 2 of
No Justice, No One Piece,
the podcast where we discuss the most popular anime and manga in the world, One Piece, and connect the themes we encounter to past and present atrocities going on in our own world.
Today, we will be covering 3 arcs, Baratie, Arlong, and Loguetown. Let's get started.
So I just want to first say, these are some of my favorite arcs in the entire series. I'd say Arlong Park is where I got, hooked into One Piece.
Yes, Arlong Park is so good.
Yeah, that walk is really what sold it to me.
Yes.
And, from that point, I was watching the rest of the show, no doubt.
I was invested from, the first episode, I'm not going to lie, because I know everybody was like, oh, it doesn't get good till, episode 300 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't think that's true. And yeah, but there's just something about Arlong Park that's so, you know that meme of the guy who's, sitting, but then he, leans back?
Yeah.
Yes, that's literally how I felt, because I was already, I felt like I was locked into the show. But then there was just something about that scene where after Nami asks Luffy for help and then he turns around and then they're all there and they walk together. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, no, it really is.
And then the music too. I think that's the first time where we hear that doon, doon,
oh, yeah.
doon, 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 doon. It's so good.
It really is. Here, we'll start with Baratie, though, just to go in order.
Yes.
So I feel like the main issue here, political issue, is obviously hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Who deserves food? Is food a right for everyone? And we see that a lot through, obviously, when we first get introduced, we see what's his name? Full Body, the Marine guy who was there.
Oh.
And he was just being the worst person possible. He put a fly in his food to try to get it free, even though you're a Marine. You can pay. But we just see clearly how, even Sanji doesn't let that disrupt him. Everyone deserves food, even people who act like that.
Yeah.
And then we see that even later as Don Krieg and all of them show up, on the verge of death from the Grand Line. And Zeph then even makes the decision, they're hungry. I'm going to feed them. I don't care if they could come back and kill me right after this.
Yeah.
They need food, and everyone deserves food.
Yeah, I was going to say my favorite line, I can't remember what he says word for word, but he basically, Zeph says something along the lines of Sanji knows what it's like to be on the verge of dying of hunger, so that's why he will feed everybody. It was something along the lines of that, but I remember, and I was just like, oh, that's such a good line. And I'm not going to lie, after I watched Baratie, I felt so bad about wasting food. I literally was like,
real?
Sanji would be disappointed in me, and I would finish all my food, and I wouldn't throw it away. that literally motivated me to eat everything on my plate for a hot second. Cause
No,
I get full really fast. So I was I would get full And I was like, I could either put this in the fridge or throw it away. And I was like, Sanji would be disappointed, so I would eat it all.
No, that's real. That's real. I get that. And I also like that this arc just introduces warlords through Mihawk and like that concept. Because you think Marines want nothing to do with pirates at all. They're more like mortal enemies. They're always going to fight. But then you see if a pirate is strong enough and has enough influence, the Marines will be like, hey, if we give you money, can you work with us?
Yeah.
And so like, are they really against pirates or just certain pirates? The ones that, you know, and I feel like we could see that a lot in the real world. Like, informants for certain countries or stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Yeah, it's just a lot of connections there as well.
Yeah, especially because we find out that there's 6 other warlords of the sea, which it's already like kind of like it's already kind of like shocking. Like, oh shoot, like the Marines are working with the pirates, and then to find out that there's actually 6 other pirates that they're working with. But then we also find out later that if the warlords tend to step out of line, obviously we're going to talk about this more later with Jinbei and with Impel Down, with if there is though a certain pirate that starts to step out of line with what the Marines believe, they're not going to be afraid to kick them out, and they're definitely not afraid to replace them just as quickly either.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I also like that Mihawk is the first warlord we meet because he's probably one of the strongest out of all the warlords.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just the fact that we meet this character, like no one in the crew can even think of beating at this point. I mean, Zoro tried. We saw how that went. He beat him with a butter knife. But like just introducing that, and it builds up these warlords as like these unbeatable characters. You're never going to be able to match them in strength, only to then, you know, meet them later on, like Alabasta, Thriller Bark, all that.
Impel Down, yeah. Sabaody, Amazon Lily.
Yeah, but I really like that they introduce us with like arguably the strongest, just to like show the levels in this world. Because up until here, it's pretty much just someone similar to strength than Luffy, but Luffy's gonna win.
Yeah.
But now we've got someone who there's no chance Luffy can win, no matter what he does.
And somebody who's tied to the Marines too. So this is like their first like serious villain. Well, I guess Captain Morgan is technically a Marine, but he was more like his own like section or whatever you would call it.
Oh yeah, he just had his own little island.
His own little island and stuff like that. And he kind of looked like silly looking too, because obviously in One Piece you either have characters who have like the most cool looking outfits, and then you have like the silliest looking characters. And definitely Morgan was one of those silly looking characters. But then we have Mihawk, who has this ginormous freaking sword in his back. Like, first of all, it's such a cool outfit. I know everybody makes fun of his little feather hat. I love his little feather hat. So great.
No, yeah, he does have a really good design. And like, I just love the whole vibe they give to him. Yeah. Like the gothic, you know.
Yeah, and he is very intimidating looking too.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel like this was kind of the first intimidating looking character we met. Obviously, we meet more and more along the way, but this was the first character where like you could tell like he means business.
Yeah, for real. There was one quote. Let me look this up. Zeph said, cooking is a gift from the gods, or like food is a gift from the gods, and like everyone deserves it. That line just really stuck with me a lot because it was him like justifying why he should be able to feed on Krieg and them. And it's like even these terrible people who you know could very well just take over the Baratie right after they're fed. Yeah. He's like, everyone deserves food. Everyone needs to eat. Yeah. And I just really like that.
And I like it too when it's him and Sanji on the rock, and he tells them, he's like, he goes, I dream of a restaurant that can go around the ocean, like feeding people. And I'm like, that is such a really good dream, because that's like, it's like when you put it out there, it's like, damn, you really do think about it. There probably is, and we don't know. I mean, there possibly could be somebody lost in the ocean right now on their last days, and they just want one last meal before they go, and they can't even have that. I mean, who knows how many people go out in the ocean and just never come back. Yeah. It's so vast and huge. It's insane.
The ocean is terrifying, and like in the One Piece world, there's more ocean than our world. So.
Yeah, it's more ocean than world.
Yeah. I mean, just absurd.
Yeah. And I mean, in their case, too, if you have a devil fruit power, you're done for.
Yeah. Like, there's just nothing you could do.
There's nothing. You just sink straight to the bottom. I also will love that gag of everybody who has a devil fruit power jumping in after Luffy when he falls in.
No, I do love that, too. And then, do you remember the name of the guy on the Don Krieg pirates who, like, got kind of close to Sanji and Luffy, and then he fed him?
Oh, my God. What's his name?
Let me search it up.
I was going to say.
Jin, one of those two. But he's a great character. Yeah. Because it just shows, like, he is a bad guy. He's on the side of the Don Krieg pirates, but he still has, like, his own ideas, his own thoughts. And he was, like, against them, obviously, trying to fight Sanji, trying to kill Sanji. Yeah. But then Sanji knows after they beat him, he's like, "You're hungry."
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is a quote, to me, any hungry person's a customer. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. If you're hungry, you're going to get fed. And I like that even someone who just tried to kill him, he's going to offer them food right away. And then that was a super emotional moment of him like crying because he's never been offered stuff like that.
Yeah.
His whole life as a pirate, everyone's feared him. No one's offered a hand to him. And so now that there's finally someone offering a hand, you could see how it changes him.
Mm-hmm.
And one way I can see that connecting a lot is in groups in our own world, whether it be like gangs or whatnot. A lot of these people kind of like Gene, like this is all he's known. He's been a part of this pirate crew his whole life.
Yeah.
But then he meets someone who is trying to help him out and is like, hey, you don't have to do this. You don't have to only hurt people or have everyone fear you. You could do this too.
Yeah.
And it helps him to like see like, oh, maybe there is another way for me to go about this or like something like that.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure. Especially me personally in like the Latino community, there's so many children who go down the path of being a gangbanger, especially because of the neighborhood you live in or because of who your parents are. Like in elementary school, I knew a lot of kids who were like, yeah, I'm probably going to be a gangbanger when I'm older because my dad's one and like whatever. And I was always just kind of like, oh, like as a kid, you don't really think twice about it. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. I'll see you then. But it's like, as I'm older, it's like, that's actually an insane thing to say as a third grader. Because it's like, you do realize you have a future bigger than you, right? You don't have to go down this path that you think you have to go down, especially because of those before you or because that's what you think is going to get you like power and recognition and stuff like that. It's just incredibly sad to see. And especially when you realize they have so much potential to do so much more, but that's all they think that they could be because of what's been presented to them.
No, for real, it is very sad to see. Just that, like, if they're born into that, they think that's all they can achieve or all they can do.
Yeah.
But for many people, it does take just, like, one person to, like, talk to them and be like, hey, this isn't all you have to do. You can go do anything else.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, and move on. And I feel like we kind of saw that from Gene, where he was like, oh, I don't have to be this terrifying guy who only wants to hurt people for my boss. I can like eat food. I can be happy.
Be so much more.
Yeah.
Also, that's such a powerful scene too, crying while eating. Because I feel like even though we are definitely very blessed enough to like have a meal every time we want to. I know there's moments where like I haven't eaten all day because I'm at school or I just don't have money like to buy food here or like outside. So like I go home and like I have a plate of food like after eating for like not 10 hours. And it's just such a great feeling of like eating food from home and just being like, so like, oh, I needed this, especially after you're starving. Like that's just, that moment is just so like, obviously like thank goodness I've never been like on the verge of like hunger to the point where I'm going to die. Yeah. But obviously like when it stays like, oh, I didn't have time to eat today and I get to go home and like eat a nice home cooked meal. It's just so like, it definitely, I'm like, this is good for the soul.
No, yeah, it is. It is always nice to get filled up good.
So I just thought that scene was like, I don't know, like obviously like I could never relate to being like starving on the verge of death, but you know, I definitely thought, I was like, I know what that feels like though, to like eat a good meal after not eating for like God knows however how long.
Yeah, 100%. I also like just because Gene's reaction is obviously start crying, and then you have Luffy who's like, oh, it looks like I found a pretty good cook. He's just joking about the whole thing. But like if you really look at it, like, because the Don Creek Pirates, they all just came from the Grand Line after getting, I think it was by Mihawk. They got jumped by Mihawk, and now they're running away from him as he's just slowly following. And then they immediately have to start fighting Sanji and fighting these other people. And then even after fighting him, they still feed him, and it's just like, that's just such a crazy concept. I know that changed Gene's entire life, like what he expects to do.
Yeah, like his way of thinking.
Yeah, but I just really love that moment. And
I
like,
know.
If you really look into like all they went through, even fighting more when they're already on the verge of death, and then being fed by the person who beat them. Yeah. Like, that's just very nice to see.
It is. It's just also kind of like the maturity that Sanji has too as a character. Because I also love how passionate Sanji is about cooking, because it's not just about like flavors and like, you know, presenting the perfect dish. Like I did mention it before, like I love how Sanji is very much like, don't waste food. Like I'm going to eat it no matter what. Like we've seen so many times that like Sanji's eaten somebody's food. Like even though it looks terrible, even though it might taste terrible, he'll eat it and he'll enjoy it. I mean, he might not enjoy it, but he's still going to finish the whole thing because he understands like that cooking is like obviously not everyone's a cook, but that doesn't mean that they can't start or that they can't, you can't enjoy what others make.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I really enjoy that too, that he's just no matter what anyone makes, he will eat it because he knows that like love and care went into it. And I feel like it reflects a lot to Zoro in his first meeting because eating the rice ball off the ground.
Yeah.
And, like he knew she made it. She put her like love and care into it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna eat it and show her that it was good.
Yeah. Even though it was smushed. I love that scene so much actually. Like I still remember that episode, but it's already second episode. That as soon as I saw Zoro on the title, I was like, yes. But I love that scene so much too, where he's still like he shows up to him, and he's like, wait, could you actually pick that up? And then he eats. First of all, he's eating it off of Luffy's hand, which is a whole nother thing. The fact that eating out of somebody's hand is insane, but eating it after it's been stomped into the ground is actually insane too. But that scene is just so like, I love it so much.
No, yeah, I agree. I also like kind of the reflection between Sanji and Zoro's introductions, both having to deal with food. Sanji as the provider, while Zoro was the one that was getting provided to. And I mean, we know those two are always at each other's throats trying to fight each other.
Yeah.
And so just the fact that their introductions are both so similar and with so many of the same things, I just really like that too.
I know. That's so good. Arlong Park, where Sanji's finally recruited and then Nami leaves.
God, we knew it was coming. Cause,
I know. She literally said it. She's like, I'm not part of your crew. And I was like, sure. Like, I had gotten some One Piece spoilers, but they weren't like crazy ones. Obviously, these were like spoilers from like episode 700 something.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to be there for a whole nother year. So when I did see that Nami actually did leave, actually, I'm lying. I did know because I was watching these two drag queens I watch the One Piece live action. So, because oh my God, my goal was, I told myself I'm not going to watch One Piece until I finish my finals. So I was like itching to wait for finals to come. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch the live action. I was like, just because they're obviously not going to show everything. I was like, and I can like watch it. So I did see that Nami does betray them, but there was just something about it in the anime that just made it so much more different.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I do love the live action, and I do think that's like one of the greatest anime to live actions.
It's so good.
Usually animes to live actions are awful.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that they are actually like putting a lot of thought into it. And
oh, yeah, they're
trying.
So passionate about it. I love it so much. God, I'm so ready for Alabasta.
No, me too.
I'm just like, oh, that's going to be such a good arc. My siblings who don't even really watch One Piece, they only know it because obviously I watch it in the living room sometimes, so they have no choice but to sit down and watch.
Yeah.
When I do watch the live action, even my mom got into it. Like, what is it? I have like an open concept house, so obviously like the kitchen's right next to the living room. So I was watching it, and I even like I heard her like washing the dishes, and then stop and like turn and like get closer and closer to the living room. And it was during Chopper's backstory too. So she was like asking questions too. She was like, so he's learning how to be a doctor from him, but everyone thinks he's crazy. I'm like, yeah, but he's the only one who actually believes in him. And she goes, oh, okay. And she's like actually like sitting down and watching. And I thought it was so funny.
That was very fun. I had my mom watch the One Piece live action with me for a bit. Didn't watch too much of it, but she liked it also.
Yeah. I think my mom would like it, especially because the main character's Mexican. Inaki, the way I love you.
For Arlong Park.
The political issues are also very obvious there.
Because, I mean, first and foremost, Arlong ruling over Kokoyashi, and we see him giving the Marines money, paying them off so they won't, come after him.
Yeah.
And just a huge corrupt relationship going on there of pirates paying Marines letting pirates get away with whatever they want.
Yeah.
And we just see how that can affect a town like Kokoyashi, because now all these citizens are horrified to act. If they act out at all, they're going to be killed. They have to give all their money and just made their lives terrible.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I was going to say already, first and foremost, I think about how the Mexican government and the cartel, there's kind of some like understanding there. Because I remember when I went to Mexico and I drove for the first time, literally after 5 minutes after crossing the border, we got stopped by the cartel.
Damn.
And they like, first of all, it's like pitch black. And they're like, they literally stop. And we have to stop because if you don't stop, they will chase you and stuff like that. So, and we had my sister's father-in-law tell us how to deal with that. He has those like big vans. So he's like tweaked it so like he can have like little hidden compartments and stuff that. So So like when they ask him like, how much money do you have? And he's like, oh, well, I only have like $700 for the trip and like stuff like that. But obviously he has more.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go, we're literally 5 minutes away from the border, where there's literally like border patrol and like all these officials who obviously work for the government and stuff like that.
But they're just letting it go.
They're just letting it go. We go and we get stopped, and immediately we have to turn off the car and obviously stuff like that. And when one guy's talking to my dad, there's two other guys like looking in the car with flashlights, and obviously I'm sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah.
'Cause it's terrifying.
I can't even imagine that. That would be terrible.
I think I was like 17 at the time, so I was literally like a child.
Oh yeah.
And it's so terrifying. It's pitch black, and it's me, my sister, and my mom and my dad. And yeah, like obviously we have this like big car full of all of our personal items and belongings and stuff we're bringing from America to Mexico for my aunts and grandma. So obviously they're like looking in this car basically full of goodies, and they're like, I don't even know what they're talking to my dad about. I'm like trying so hard to like not panic because I have these men looking around the car, basically making eye contact with me. But eventually, you know, we give them the money. They tell us the whole spiel, like, oh, if you ever need something, whatever. And they let us go. But that's what I think about, how there's like that understanding between the government and like these corrupt officials who, even though like there's people there's people at stake, like they don't care as long as they get their money.
Oh yeah, that's a great comparison, and just feel bad that you had to go through that, but
It's fine.
It is wild that
Yeah.
like that's so prevalent.
Yeah.
And I bet there's countless other places we can bring up, but I just don't have them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
The Marines taking bribes, that's, I feel like, a lot more than
Yeah.
like we can think of police officers getting bribes from like someone just to
Yeah.
get off of the tiny little crime. Or even further, if you look at Trump, he's given out, I believe, 1,800 pardons for individuals who have given him money.
Yeah.
And so that's, he's taking a bribe and he's letting these people get away with whatever they want.
That's insane. And then I think about too how he pardoned all the officials, or not the officials, pardoned all the people on January 6th.
Yeah, that's just
because they were on his side. That's insane.
Yeah, and like I got a TikTok recently that like I think around 100 of them have been arrested again since January 6th, and there were some like one guy killed someone.
That's
like 10 to 20 people got arrested for like SA or child things. And like it's terrible. Like
that's so crazy.
He only let them go purely because they were on his side.
Yeah. And he thought it was so amusing.
Yeah.
That's actually insane.
It's so tragic to think about, but a lot of connections between Arlong and him.
Yeah.
With those. And then another thing I want to bring up is racism, because I mean, this is our first time meeting fishmen really. And I really like how it introduces fishmen, because it arguably kind of makes the viewer somewhat racist towards them.
Yeah.
Because all we really see is the citizens from Kokiyasi and Nami talk about fishmen, and they're all, oh, they're these terrible people. They just want to hurt humans. They want to kill humans. And so we start to think that too. And then we see him fighting with the Arlong Park pirates, the only fishmen we see, other than Hachi, I'd say. He was chill.
Yeah.
But we see that, oh yeah, they are trying to fight. So then we think that. But as time goes on, as we travel further, as the crew travels further and meet more fishmen, meet more people, we see how that's simply the ideas that they had because of the fishmen they met. And it shows how, like, not all fishmen are bad. Not all fishmen are trying to kill humans. It just depends on, like, what you've experienced. And plus, Luffy and them, they really didn't experience anything. They were just taking others' words for it. And so I feel like that connects a lot to, in the real world, people just racist against all other groups, despite having rarely met some of them.
Yeah.
They just see something online and they're like, oh, that must be true. All of them are like this or something. And I really like how it makes you kind of racist to start towards these fishmen. And then later on, obviously, changes that and shows you, like, how wrong that thinking is and how no one in one group is bad. Or not all people in one group is bad or are good. There are good and bad people on either side. But I really like how it does that.
Yeah. I was also going to say, it also kind of amplifies that with having Arlong being like, oh, humans are like fishmen are superior because we can go on land and water.
Yeah.
And just kind of being like, humans are so pathetic and like all of that. So like obviously when Luffy and the other crewmates hear that, they're like, this guy's crazy. Like, and they definitely are like, all right, well, Arlong's got to go and stuff like that. And it also shows how Arlong's perspective of obviously of humans kind of also like it also makes the fishmen look racist too, like, because they're like, oh man, like humans suck, like we're very much superior than humans because we can walk on both land and sea, and like we're just so much better than them. And then obviously Luffy and his crew, who are all human, are kind of like, this guy's crazy, like we got to take him out of here, especially when they find out that what he's done to Nami, how we find out that he's actually had Nami like enslaved basically her whole life.
Yeah.
And he still has her enslaved because she's working for him to pay off her village's debt. And when Luffy finds out that Arlong has been using Nami, and Arlong refers to Nami as like an object or a tool, Luffy's like, Nami's a person with her own dreams. So it definitely doesn't help their case, or it definitely doesn't help like the Fishman's case, as for us, the audience, and for the people in the One Piece world, especially because we find out that the Arlong pirates and like the Sun pirates are a very famous like group of pirates who like, and then obviously when you have somebody like Arlong representing them, and we know what his ideologies are, it's definitely like, oh my God, fishmen suck, or like fishmen are terrible.
Yeah, I also like, you bring up the Sun Pirates. I know that's much later on, but I like the reflections between Arlong, Jinbei, Fisher Tiger, and all them.
Yeah.
Because it shows like 3 different ideologies regarding how humans and fishmen should coexist, if they should coexist. I mean, you can see that through pretty much anything in the real world, people's opinions on religion, people's opinions on races. But I really just like how it shows, like, even though they all had pretty much the same experiences, they all came to a different conclusion on what is the correct answer. And I just really like how it shows, like, even if you experience the same things, people will
take it
differently. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was also going to say, too, even though they're all fishmen, and even though they all went through the same thing, and like we said, they take it differently, we also see that they value each other differently based on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, we see that Arlong actually thinks that Jinbei is like a coward, and like he's like a disgrace to the fishmen, because he believes that everybody should be equal and everybody should be, together and harmonious. And we see that Arlong's like, that's a terrible, like, he's literally a coward for that. Like, we see that he doesn't agree with that at all. And we see that Jinbei obviously looks down on Arlong for his ideology as well, for not believing, or for believing that fishmen are superior, because that's what Jinbei doesn't want. So obviously, even though they're both fishmen, and even though they've gone through the same thing, they butt heads, and that kind of pits them against each other as well.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And I feel like one connection you can draw is just both sides of the political parties in our country.
Yeah.
Like, oftentimes some news headline will come out and they'll see the same exact things, but one side says something completely different than the other side, and they're disagreeing, even though it's the same situation they're talking about.
Yeah.
And like, that just shows even further like how people can portray things differently, and even if it's the same exact thing, how it can come to be different.
Yeah. Well, what I think about is Latinos for Trump, which is the stupidest thing since outdoor air conditioning. Just because it's like, we're going through the same. Well, actually, I'm lying. Not all Latinos go through the same thing. And I feel like that's what kind of creates this like superiority with them. So obviously, a lot of Latinos, their parents immigrated here. And obviously, we were raised by immigrants. But some people are that their parents were born here. Their parents immigrated, so their grandparents immigrated here. And then when their parents were born, they were born here. So there's kind of this like superiority, like, okay, well, my parents are citizens, like, and stuff like that. So that's why when Trump comes in office and he says these terrible things about not just Latinos, but about people of color or other minority groups, it's so stupid to me when they're like, well, actually, he has a point. I'm like, he doesn't even like you.
Yeah.
He doesn't like you. And it kind of pits us Latinos against each other, because we're both seeing ICE raids. We're both seeing these terrible things happening. We're both seeing these poor innocent people and children being put in literal concentration camps and cages. And there will still be some stupid person to be like, well, what did he do? He came illegally and he has to do like the right thing. And I'm like, that's just so stupid, because it doesn't matter. That's not how you treat people.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most inhumane thing that you can do to somebody. And it pits us all against each other, even though we should be working together, because these are our people. We're seeing our people go through these terrible, horrible things that we have seen been done to other people in the past, and we're not learning. So that's kind of where I make my connection. Like, we're butting heads when we should be working together, because the world is against us. The government is pitting us against each other for their own benefit.
Yeah. You brought up many people will be like, oh, well, they came here illegally. So,
Yeah.
But at the same time, even if they do come here legally, does that justify like this level of mistreatment?
Yeah.
Like there is a humane way to go about these things. And we have in the past when we did have more proper immigration enforcement.
Yeah.
And there is a proper way to go about it. But right now, like, it's just terrible. Like no matter what, they'll see anyone who's here illegally, they're just tossed into one of those camps and just treated horribly. I've heard countless horror stories about what happens in there.
So sad. And they've even said that a judge has passed where like you can literally take somebody off of the street if they look somewhat Mexican and or like any type of like Latino or any type of minority, which is such an insane concept that's actually crazy. Like somebody could literally be walking down the street and it doesn't matter if you are Mexican. That doesn't like or Latino, it doesn't justify literally tackling that person and shoving them in a car and essentially throwing them in a cage just like for their last days. It's such an insane concept. And it's so crazy like when you say it out loud, especially because we have seen this before in the past with the Nazis and with Jewish people being basically genocided in front of us. And it's basically the same thing. We're watching a genocide happen in front of us and everyone's just basically turning the other way. And when you read about it, you think like, you're like, that's crazy. How did nobody do anything? It's happening again. It's literally right before us.
No, that makes me think of this one quote. Who was it by? I'm pulling it up right now. It was by Karl Stoschka, Auschwitz survivor. But he said, it was not Hitler or Himmler who abducted me, beat me, and shot my family. It was the shoemaker, the milkman, the neighbor, who received a uniform and then believed they were the master race. And I feel that's what we're seeing a lot of people go through now because they get recognition from Trump, they get recognition from MAGA. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I'm allowed to do this to other people. I'm allowed to treat them however I want. I'm allowed to call ICE on them, get them deported just for them asking or acting a way I didn't like.
Yeah.
And I just see a lot of connections through that and through Nazi Germany and what's going on right now, which is sad to say, and we shouldn't be saying that because
that's actually insane too.
Yeah.
And I miss when Nazi was an insult. Now people take that with pride. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. And going back to One Piece, you brought up earlier how, Arlong's forcing Nami into labor, basically enslaving her, in the fact that all of that was for a lie, which is terrible because he was like, oh yeah, once you save up enough, your whole village will go free. Yeah. And she saves up that much and he's like, I don't really want to, which that's just terrible. But I do like when Luffy's fighting him and he, one moment that really stood out to me is him destroying the map room. I don't know if you remember that because that was Nami's whole life, her whole purpose. Yeah. And I feel like him destroying that is kind of the equivalent to him like destroying the institution that enslaved her. Yeah. And so once she saw that like this building got broken, she's no longer like stuck to that room. The room is there's no longer just one room. It's now broken out into the wide world. She's able to realize I can go do other things. I don't have to be held back by Arlong anymore. And I just really like that moment.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think about maybe there's a correlation, maybe there's not, but it makes me think about how when that one plantation burned down and people were like, you can see like figures walking by and everybody was like, that's the souls being set free. I just kind of think about that because here's this one room that Nami's been enslaved to for her whole life. This is all she knows, but there's nothing but torture and negativity tied to that. Like to her, there's no joy, there's no happiness, there's nothing but negativity tied to that room. So when Luffy destroys it, she like basically sees herself being like freed. Like there's no longer like, she's no longer tied to this room. She's no longer tied to this negativity. I kind of see that with the correlation with when that one plantation burned down and people were like, you can literally see figures like walking by. And I've seen the video and you literally can see like black shadows like walking through. I know what you're talking about. Through the plantation, and everyone's like, that's the souls being set free from this essential hellhole. And I believe that. I mean, the fact that people get married on plantations is the most insane thing ever. So the fact that people are trying to turn this basically historic hellhole into this like beautiful venue is disgusting. And finally seeing it being burned down and like basically seeing actual souls leave it is like it kind of reminds me of that, or like I put a correlation to that.
No, yeah, that's definitely a great connection. I could see that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing with the townspeople, because I found it interesting that their entire life, and like while Naomi was growing up, they were horrified to even consider fighting back. Like many people wouldn't even say bad things about fishermen out of fear that someone will hear them, and then boom, they'll have Arlong and his crew at their house and they're dead. But they see Luffy and all of them begin that walk and go to fight Arlong, and they're like, oh, he's actually putting up a fight. I like that all the townspeople, they also pull up to Arlong Park and they're like, we're going to fight with you.
Yeah.
Like, there's a chance now. And I like that it shows like many people will be apprehensive to act, but once someone takes that first step and they know that like they took that first step without falling, without tripping, they're going to follow.
Yeah.
And it just takes that first domino to make all the other ones fall down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we could see that in past arcs as well. Like the very first arc with Axe Hand Morgan, all the citizens hated him, but as he was a Marine and no one was ever fighting back, they weren't gonna. But then you see immediately after Luffy and them defeat them, they all denounce him. They're like, oh, he was a terrible person. Thank God he's gone.
Yeah.
And so I just love those connections and how Luffy is like a catalyst for many of these movements.
Yeah. Well, it also just reminds me of like the whole like it all just takes one person.
Yeah.
And I love it, especially when they show like actual like examples of it. Like that one guy who was dancing and then another guy came to dance and then everybody started to come dance and stuff like that. So it does definitely remind me of the whole like it just takes one person to start it.
Yeah. I can also see a connection there between with Baratie and Jean. Like it just took Sanji feeding him to make him change.
Yeah.
And like there's so many connections like that just all around. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for Loguetown, the thing that stands out to me is obviously it's the location where Roger was assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
So arguably the most like important place in terms of pirates.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Marines have now turned this into like their base right before the Grand Line, because I remember them talking about that and they're like, oh, you have to stop at this island before the Grand Line. There's like, if you don't, you're going to be screwed. You're not going to have what you need. But this island is also heavily ran by Marines because they know the pirates have to come through here.
Yeah.
And so they're going to set up a blockade basically to prevent them. And one connection I can draw with that is Strait of Hormuz.
Mm-hmm.
Because as people know that we need oil through there, and they're saying, well, one way to stop them, block it off. And same as Marines blocking off the entrance to the Grand Line, in my mind, kind of. It's a weird connection to draw, but I could see that.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid. Kind of just also with the Marines setting up base there, it's almost like a mockery.
Yeah.
Kind of like being like, oh, it's like because to the pirates, obviously, a lot of pirates very obviously, idolize Roger.
Yeah.
We see that Luffy is one of those people. So it's kind of like they're taking a mockery of his death and like they're making almost like a statement against it. Like, if you dare, basically. That's what I think about when I think about basically the Marines making base there and essentially making a mockery and almost like because they leave the platform there where he's dead or where he's been executed. So what's the word I'm looking for? They're making like a spectacle, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They're making basically like a spectacle and like I said, almost like a warning, like this is what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. And I do think that is wild that they just left it up the entire time. And I mean, we see Luffy go up there in both the live action and the anime where he's about to be killed by a buggy because Luffy's stupid and was like, I want to see how this felt. And so he puts himself in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just the fact they leave that up there and it is such a heavily Marine guarded place, but they allowed these pirates to get so close to that point, the stand. I feel like that's kind of them trying to make a point, like, you can reach this, but nothing you do matters. Like, we're still here. We're going to stop you.
I kind of want to say it's almost like going back to, like, letting them pit themselves against each other. So it's kind of like, let them kill each other. Like, who cares? Like, less pirates of the world. I can definitely see that so much in the real world with basically letting minority groups basically kill each other and other people being like, well, they're eventually all going to kill each other and, like, we'll have no more of them and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I think about when basically no Marine officials stop Bucky trying to execute Luffy because it's letting the pirates kill each other and eventually kind of, I want to say, like, letting pirates no longer be an issue for them.
Yeah.
Or almost like they take joy in obviously seeing pirates kill each other.
Yeah, that is It is just a crazy. I mean, it makes sense, honestly, if you think about it, like going that course of action, because it's better to have them fight than join the fight yourself. But it's still just crazy that it works and that it's just such a prevalent thing in the world. And then I also I don't think they say that he's a part of it, but Smoker might have mentioned it, but at the end when Smoker's about to kill Luffy, and then he gets stopped by Dragon, and we get our first glimpse of the Revolutionary Army. I feel like this is kind of one of our first real political, because it's the Revolutionary Army fighting against the Marines. Usually it's just a random pirate group against them. But these people have the sole purpose of taking down the government and the Marines. That is their sole goal. Pirates, they want to become king of the pirates. They could care less. Luffy, he doesn't care. He just wants to be king of the pirates. He wants everyone to be free. But the Revolutionary Army and Dragon, they want to stop these people. And so I think just introducing him there, the Revolutionary Army at one of the most prevalent marine islands right before the Grand Line, just shows the Marines don't have this absolute control that they try to say they do, because they allowed one of the strongest figures of the Revolutionary Army into this place, and he stopped Smoker. It just shows they don't have that level that they think they have or that they're trying to enforce on other people. And it just shows there are people fighting back, even though they are such a oppressive regime, the Marines and the world government. There are people who are trying to fight back against that. I just like that they introduced Dragon then.
Yeah. Kind of going back to what you said, this is the first real political group we see. Because I feel with One Piece, they use so many different other groups to kind of as an allegory for these. But this is the first real revolution army. There's been so many revolutionary armies in actual history that obviously try to take down the government or other oppressive groups. So to actually name a group the Revolutionary Army is kind of no, we're not gonna dance around it. No, this is somebody who's actually trying to take down the government.
I'm pretty sure Dragon is based on Che Guevara and Fidel Castro.
Oh, wow.
And I know he himself said he had a poster of Che Guevara in his room where he wrote One Piece. He would have that watching over him and he would look up to that. And so there are countless historical connections that you could draw. Enel is Slim Shady. Stuff like that. There's a ton of those connections. But there's also political this too. There's a character who's meant to represent this real life revolutionary figure. And who's doing the same exact thing in the world of One Piece. And I just really like that he uses a lot of those real world connections. I want to look more into that. There's definitely a ton more.
Oh my God. I imagine, especially with so many characters, you can definitely see the similarities and everything like that. And some of them are more obvious than others. Obviously Zoro, who's a swordsman, is obviously based on Zoro.
I also just searched this up because I was intrigued about more political connections. But apparently the ship that Dragon uses and the Revolutionary Army uses is a direct homage to the ship that Castro and Guevara used during the Cuban Revolution.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I just love a lot of the connections like that.
Yeah.
It's very clear if you actually look at it, how much he has been inspired by these individuals.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, or you don't know about this, I won't get into that. There's later people who have recently been introduced who are also based on some people. I don't think it was confirmed, but a few of the people they think they're based off of are Abraham Lincoln, Karl Marx, Mikhail Gorbachev, Hideki Tojo, and Itagaki Taisuke, who were all extremely prevalent and prominent political figures, obviously.
Yeah.
The first two for sure, Lincoln and Karl Marx, but the other ones were as well. But I love the connections he draws and how he uses real world people in his characters.
Well, with the way One Piece progresses and the way the story goes on, even though it might seem like silly fantasy, there's just so much with the way Oda writes the stories, there's just so much from actual history that you can put into it that and it'll work. It'll make sense. We see here, with Dragon being a revolutionary army leader with the corrupted world government that's obviously going against its people and putting their lives at stake for their own benefit.
Yeah. This is just a really great arc, and I love, you really start to see the real world connections more and more, and actual characters who look like real world people. Yeah. I just always find funny.
And we see also that when they finally do cross the Grand Line, that's when the political issues start to be more in your face. Because obviously with Arlong Park, with Baratie, with Syrup Village and Romance Dawn, all of that. The political issues, you kind of have to dig for it, obviously. Like, you kind of have to be like, you know, like, be like, oh, well, yeah, I can see the connection there. Like,
Yeah.
we see with Alabasta, which is the most very obviously political arc.
Yeah.
So kind of like when they cross the Grand Line, it's almost like we're also finally crossing into like the real world. Like, we're no longer dealing with small villages. We're no longer dealing with like tiny like dictators in like villages, or like small, like, what am I trying to say? Like, basically, like, we're not dealing with big time villains here. We're dealing with like tiny little like just basically oppressive people in like small towns, small villages, or stuff like that. But then when we cross the Grand Line, it's almost like we're crossing into the real world, where we're dealing with like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, corrupt politicians, corrupt people who are actually like dealing with the real world and the government and everything, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Almost like higher up officials. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we meet actual higher up officials who are corrupted and who are actually going against the people because of the Marines or because of their orders.
Yeah, that's a great point. I love the drastic change once they get to the Grand Line, and how it really like the stakes change and like get a lot more serious. Because at the beginning they were just dealing with like, you know, like you said, small town, like just oppressive people who aren't really like in control of too much.
Mm-hmm.
But then immediately we see an Alabasta crocodile. That man's nothing compared to anyone we've met other than like Mihawk, but that doesn't count because he wasn't like, you know, an actual villain.
Yeah, I've said it before. Crocodile. I've also seen it before where they say that Crocodile is like Luffy's first real villain. Like, this isn't some like silly little dictator from a small town, or like some silly character who's like using his power to like rule over this village. Like, this is somebody who's actually like orchestrating a whole like, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically like this whole revolution towards like pitting people against each other. Not revolution, but like, we see that Crocodile is basically pitting people against each other for something bigger than power over a small village and stuff like that.
Yeah, he just crafted his own civil war.
Yeah. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh. And then one other thing I want to bring up is Luffy, when he was trapped on the thing, like about to be executed by Buggy, and then the lightning strike that stops and frees him. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about that, whether that was like Dragon using his power or whatnot. Yeah. But we still don't know about Dragon. Even now in the manga, they haven't revealed anything about Dragon.
I think they forgot about him.
Yeah, no, honestly. He just has no feats at all. But I just think, I feel like a lot of people will, in the real world, I'll hear him say like, these evil institutions, they'll get what's coming to them. God will like deal with them, or like they'll deal with nature because of like how bad they are. And I feel like that's you can kind of see that here. Because Luffy's a pure soul, a guy who wants to be free, who wants to free other people, about to be killed by Buggy, but also at a place where the Marines have a ton. So it kind of shows like outside force that's not controllable by anyone will stop in order to help those who are like truly good, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but
I literally had a quote in my head, and I don't know who said it, or if I don't know, I made it up in my head. I think it's like, when put to the test in time, I don't know, when the test is put to the time or something like that, it's like the pure will prevail, or it's like something like that.
I think I've heard that too.
Yeah, it's like something along the lines of that, or something of that idea. Basically, like, when the time comes, obviously the pure will prevail, or like those with good hearts will actually like come to truth, or will come to light.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was trying to get at. You said that better than me.
And then also kind of with the lightning strike, it's kind of like foreshadowing Skypiea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't put that. I didn't put that at all together. Yeah. And even when I was watching Skypiea, I think I had watched a couple episodes. And then obviously when we see Luffy and Enel fight together, I was like, damn, Luffy's really strong. And then I saw TikTok and it was like, rubber can't, obviously lightning can't stick to rubber, or like it can't affect it. I was like, oh, like I was like, wow, I'm insanely slow if I couldn't put that together.
No, for real. I feel like there's been a lot of moments like that where I've been like, man, I should have seen that.
I should have known that.
Yeah, like it's pretty obvious.
I sometimes forget though that Luffy's like rubber. I'm like, oh yeah, he's rubber, but no, like he's rubber. He doesn't have bones. He doesn't like there's a reason why he can twist his arm into a freaking pretzel. You can't do that if you have bones. Yeah. And I forget too that he's also, like I said, he's all rubber. Like, to me, that's just like your limbs, but I forget he can also technically stretch his face, his eyelids, his nose. Because my favorite is in Drum Island when he's like trying to make Nami laugh and he pulls out his nose. And I'm like, oh, right, you can do that. And then also in Drum Island when Sanji falls off the cliff and he literally stretches his neck to get him. I'm like, I forgot you can do that. I'm like, I'm limiting you to only your limbs. I'm so sorry, King. I underestimated your abilities.
It's funny. Well, I also just got to say the fact that, I mean, Dragon is Luffy's dad. So Luffy having that strong of a connection to both sides. Because you have Garp, who's a Marine official. You have Dragon, who's the Revolutionary Army. And Luffy now just wants to be king of the pirates. Quite the family, but just that connection. I mean, we also meet Ace there, too. Yeah. We meet Ace in Loguetown. And
oh, my God, we do. Yeah. Duh.
And we see him how he also wants to be a pirate. But he's been influenced by Garp, influenced not too much by Dragon, but influenced by his father, who we know. But I just really like that we start to see more of Luffy's family and see how, like, important every single member of his family is. Yeah. It just shows how, like, he doesn't let anyone else really decide for him. Yeah. He just waits to meet people himself, make his own thoughts about them. And that's another thing, like, with Arlong Park, because how I was saying, like, it makes the viewer racist, and, like, Luffy's kind of the one that went against that, because even while he was hearing all these terrible things about fishermen, he was like, well, these are just a few fishermen, like, I met. Like, there's more out there. There's probably a nice one. And then Hachi, who was a part of Arlong, he ends up being chill. Yeah. So, I mean, I just like Luffy, how he's that very, like, I don't know, just very open to everything.
Yeah. Very much open mind. And I've said it so many times, too. Like, Luffy's very much, like, the person to be like, I'm going to let you decide what you think about me. Yeah. And I kind of like that, because it's so true. Like, if somebody were to ask somebody, they'd be like, are you a good person? The person would be like, yeah, I think I am. But, like, Luffy's just kind of like, I'll let you decide that. No, yeah. And I think that's really cool.
No, yeah, me too. And I like how he lets people, like, decide for themselves for the most part. We saw at the very beginning with Kobe. He asked Kobe, he's like, do you want to be on this pirate ship? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, Kobe, you got to do something about it. He's like, I could help you, but not until you say you want help. And you say that, like, you need help. And he does the same with Nami. He knows the atrocities Arlong's done and, like, all the terrible things he's done. But he says to Nami, like, you have to tell me you need help, that you want to live, that you want to do this. And we see it later, like, with Robin and his lobby, say, you want to live. Yeah. So Luffy very much, like, he won't decide for these individuals. He has to, like, they have to decide for themselves, and then he'll protect them and act for them. I just really like that, because, I mean, I feel like in most things you'll just see, like, heroes blindly helping someone just because he knows they need help. Yeah. But here, Luffy wants these people to change. He doesn't want to just help them and then leave them on their own. He wants them to make a change and then to be able to help themselves at one point. Yeah. I just really love that. Great character.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for listening, everybody. This has been episode 2 of No Justice, No One Piece. Join us next time for episode 3, where we will cover the Alabasta arc. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for listening to this WXAV 88.3 FM podcast. Be sure to visit our website, WXAV.com, for more information on your escape from ordinary radio. Thank you very much for listening to this WXAV 88.3 FM podcast. Be sure to visit our website, WXAV.com, for more information on your escape from ordinary radio.